Ha ha ha, tee hee. Hello everyone. Ian Hazakostas here, telling you that I played a trick on the boys. I hired Keisha and Chapel Rune to show up at the Thursday of Lollapalooza, making the boys record one day early. One day too early to catch all of the changes that I and my team have made to the Radiant Echoes event. They'll do some complaining about things that aren't the case anymore. Ha ha ha, I tricked them. That's what they get for teasing me. Now, I'm going to ask, does anyone have any butter? Because I'm wedged pretty tightly in this air vent. Urgh. Urgh.
Archers, attack! Keep firing! Let none escape! Another down! Do not relent!
Welcome, pre-patch event is live, Anduin's back and covered in dirt, Mop Remix has been nerfed to the ground, and WoW's new cinematic has revealed the real war within, my cream versus my jeans. I'm Slidewhistle.
Do you write these down now? Damn, that was a powerful first showing.
I love it. Now that can we confirm that your mic is good to go?
Oh, this shit's working.
Hello, I am Immunization, here to record this podcast. Hello.
Ooh, grip it and rip it. It's me, Aaron, Fire Mage Extraordinaire and Horde Punching Bag. And as my good friend Slidewhistle said in the intro, the official pre-patch event, the Glittering Shadows, or whatever it's called, is here. I have lived the past 36 hours, 90 minutes at a time. At any point during this, my alarm will go off, and you'll all know that I'm sacrificing so much to bring you this content.
Are you, though?
I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's interesting. I'm not saying it's worthwhile. End of statement.
Yeah, so we've seen a number of pre-patch events. I feel like they all have historically been pretty fucking buggy, so nothing really new here. But I really feel like the other pre-patch events gave me a little something, gave me some more to sink my teeth into, or like the story was like really like, okay, this seems cool. This one I'm just kind of like, this is it? You're gonna make me lag for this?
Well, yeah, and especially the story. So there always has been at least a little bit of what's going on. You figure Legion, you get the Demon Hunters are coming and they're telling you about stuff. I just remembered the other day, BFA, we had the the War of Roses, and I believe, didn't we have Lordaeron? So it's like we had a lot of shit to think about.
Yeah. And then what was Dragonflight?
And Dragonflight, well, you got the intro of the Drakthir. So you got their whole starting zone. And then admittedly, when they got there, it's like, oh, things are out of whack. And we sort of get what we have now, where it's like, just head on out and fight, guys. But the story of this one is even less.
Yeah, because like this one is kind of similar mechanically to, what would you say, the Shadowlands one where we were up in Northrend, except like this is spread in different places, but there's just a portal hub, and
yeah, but
there's like less of a reason for this one. The Shadowlands one at least made a little, like, it was only a little bit of a stretch as to why it was happening, you know?
Even Shadowlands, it was like, oh no, the Scourge is everywhere. You need to go and check. And they weren't deep, but there were story missions for you to go and be like, oh, they're eating us in Redridge. And then you went to another place and it's like, they're breaking through the barriers in the Southern Barrens. So it's like, oh, before you eventually find out like, oh, they're in Northrend. We got to go there. This, yeah, you get a summons from Jainer. She said, things are weird, so we need to talk to Magni. Then Magni goes, I don't want to talk because Azeroth isn't talking to me. And then you go, come on, what if I turn on 3 of your computers? And he goes, okay, I guess.
I will say, I did like being in the heart of the Azeroth chamber again. That was cool. But yeah, it was just kind of like Magni's like, I'm depressed, I haven't been talking or eating.
And I will say, in classic Blizzard day one of a patch, it was bugged as shit. Like, did you guys experience Anduin and Thrall A-pose dragging across the screen through the Chamber of Heart as well.
I hate to say I didn't even look at them, but it would not surprise me because that seems to be the universal is that they just they scrape like a stone to their assigned spots. And then as soon as you turn on those computers, Magni's like, "Oh boy, time to talk to my baby mama." And all of a sudden, the entire experience is struck silent. Voices just turned off and they don't go for the rest of the event.
I know. Yeah, no, that happened to me too. And I'm like, oh, classic. This is another thing that always happens on day one when I try to do something. Blizzard's cinematics, in-game cinematics, just don't have voice acting when obviously they're supposed to.
But this one is actually way worse than previous iterations. Wowhead doesn't even have a version with sound. Wow, I tried to find the video, and Wowhead's version very clearly stated in the title, no sound. They don't have one either. So, like, whatever the bug is causing this, or maybe there's no fucking sound at all, which that'd be incredible, because it looks like it's supposed to have him talking. So he talks to Azeroth, and again, we don't hear anything he's saying. We're just reading his mouth, and he's just like, "Oh, she's telling me we have to go too," and then he gets blasted by something. Her? I don't know. And then he's in like a coma again.
I know, but this time, then you need to go and tell people that he's in a coma. So you basically find... we have our first interaction with Dagran, basically. That was my main takeaway here.
In the Dalaran Welcome Center, which is so funny. Moira's like, my kin are in the Dalaran Welcome Center. You know, that one that's always been there. And then I roll up and I'm like, wasn't this the gift shop? Like, has this always been here?
I was actually like, is that what this place is called? I'm like, since when has anyone ever referred to it as that?
I also appreciate that you say it's her first interaction with Dagran, and she's like, go talk to Dagran. And I'm like, I don't see him. And it's like, talk to Bran. And I'm like, okay, Bran. I thought I was talking to Dagran. And I'm like, hey, Bran, what's up? And he's like, oh, no, we just go help him. And Dagran's like following behind, and he's so tiny compared to fucking Bran. I didn't see him. And again, there's no voice acting, so... I barely missed it if I didn't check the chat to see what was posted there.
Every day that they could potentially come and fix this thing is like, I'm anxious because I don't know what Dagran sounds like. Any moment I could click on him, it could be like, hey, how are ya? And I'm like, oh, what? That's what you sounded like this whole time?
Hey, how are ya?
Like, we really don't know. But also, hey, everyone, was that a thrilling story? Because that's it. You gather all the dwarves around Magni, and Khadgar goes,
yeah, you know...
I don't know. Something weird's going on.
Like, I was actually kind of excited, though. I was kind of excited that we were going to get, like, some Dagran lore, maybe a Dagran quest chain, but then no. As you were saying, then immediately after you unite all the dwarves, they just, hover over his, like, comatose body, and then... Like, yeah, Khadgar's like, oh, there's something happened with the portal. Go check it out. And then you just get sent on these Radiant Echo, whatever the fuck they're called.
Before we get to that, I will say probably the best part was Moira talking to Magni while he was in a coma. You ever heard of that story of that guy, the guy that was in a coma for like 18 years and his mom whispered in his ear, I wish you would just die already. You're a burden. I wish you would just die. And then he woke up and was like, Mom, I heard you say that shit. This is basically what kind of happened. She was like, you killed my husband, and I'll never forgive you for that. And you're a piece of shit, but you're my dad, and you're Dagran's granddad. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, you need to do the classic parent thing by making up for a shitty parenthood by being a good granda. But you barely met the boy. He just grew his big boy bones yesterday.
He just got his new model yesterday.
Magni's gonna see him and be like, you aren't my grandson. He's been a little baby for 15 years.
Meanwhile, he's a fucking big diamond husk. So Aaron said earlier that we had more of a lead-in. We had like Lordaeron going on. We had Southern Barrens is being invaded or whatever the hell is going on. The only bit of information we get about what's happening is from Khadgar when he gives you the quest to go do memories of adventures past. And he says, it seems that Azeroth has grown agitated? Something must have happened when Magni tried to commune with her. Past events have now come to life once more. I believe they're Azeroth's memories. Memories they may be, these radiant echoes are all too real and could cause serious danger if left unattended. I ask that you investigate one of them, blah, 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 blah. This is the only information we have about what these ghastly, goopy things are. And I really, really hate that it's just a rehashing of 3 old bosses, 3 old events. Like, I don't care. I feel like we've seen this before already, haven't we? Didn't we already deal with some kind of Lich King memory? Or am I just making that up?
Well,
Well, like the one I was talking about in Shadowlands was kind of like that, I guess.
Yeah, that's all the zombies of previous guys. They're back. I talked a big game last time saying that, we fought the Lich King so much. I guess technically the only time we did it was for time walking, like the Soradormi thing. But still, that was just
Dragonflight.
You could pick someone else. I don't know. I hate to be a meanie. Stop setting things in Northrend for a little bit. We know what happened there.
Yeah, because the 3 zones that we go to are 3 zones nobody's fucking been to unless you're playing WoW Classic. Is this supposed to be an appeal to WoW Classic players? Because it's Dustwallow Marsh, which would be Classic, but that's Onyxia. It would be Dragonblight, which is obviously about the Lich King. Now, Searing Gorge, is that a Cataclysm zone, or is that just old zone?
Searing Gorge is old, but I think you used to go around it, and it's like, let's just beat the hell out of Dark Irons. And then when they added Kata stuff, like they fixed it to do something else there.
That's what I'm thinking.
You wouldn't know other than Ragnaros being the final boss. Because when you go around, the things that Azeroth desperately remembers are like leper gnomes. Or like, ooh, a crazy alarm bot. It's like, I don't think you thought this one through.
Yeah, like in the zone for Dustwallow Marsh, there's like memories of spiders, and I'm like, is this really what Azeroth's thinking about, the spiders that are hanging out in the zone? Like, I don't get it. And like, it just feels so lazy to just take basically what's in the zone and to just be like, now it's blue and gold. Like, okay, like and then you get to the content itself, and I'm just like, yeesh, man, God, what are we doing?
Yeah, anyone who ever says that we are shills for Blizzard, please listen to this episode again, because we have a lot of bad things to say about this event, because I fucking hate it. I've done it like literally once. I don't want to have to do it again. I mean, I will be doing it again just because like I want to get some of the cosmetics. How much is that mount worth?
That mount is 20,000 funny monies.
At the very least, we are able to now do the weekly on all of our ults, and now Warband send that currency to one character, so that would be easier to buy that. But like, still, this is like probably the least inspired pre-patch event I've seen live, and it is boring, yet still has a lot of people, so it still lags my computer and the zone. And as Slide said, none of it looks good. It feels lazy. I am not having fun during it. The only other good thing is that, like, Aaron, I think you said this, maybe it was in our side chat or in the Discord, I don't remember, that like at the very least, you know where it's going to be and how long you have. They're very, very clear about that.
Yes, no longer do you have to depend on a Wowhead tracker or write it down on your phone like I had to do for Dragonflight. When you're in the event, if you stand next to the ghost who gives you the quest or the spot where the big bad typically spawns, there is just a straight up fourth wall breaking little note floating above you that says, the next event will be taking place in location in set amount of time. And if you leave and go back to Dalaran, same thing. Not only do the portals glow to tell you which one's activated, above that one it says, this one's active right now, but nothing's happening. Go shift one to the right in like 10 minutes.
I love it. That's such a good change. People shouldn't have to depend on Wowhead, because then I'm like, how the fuck does Wowhead even know some of this shit sometimes? Because I can't figure it out naturally.
Yeah, like when I was doing my Taven grind, I'm like, how does Wowhead know all of this stuff about like the rotation of the storms, how long they have and stuff. I'm like, I'm thankful that it does, but like, damn, like I'm glad that this is just like outright in the game now, and I hope that that's the way that they go forward with things like this.
It'd be really, really great if they kind of just like took the Wildhead tracker, obviously their own tracker, and stuck it in like a page in the dungeon journal, like events that are going to be happening. Obviously, you only keep it to like the current expansion and not like every single possible event in the game. But
Get ready, there's a researchers under fire.
oh, please.
Imagine if it like WoW just devolved into having like pop-ups, like feels like you're having like a virus on your computer. It's like, hey, champion, researchers, they're under fire.
The Super Bloom champion. We need to help Immunization grow. I did that 4 years ago.
I'm trying to think what else to say about the. Okay, so like, it seems like the lag is really bad, and me and Aaron just had a really, really bad one. Aaron saved my skin today. We were in 2 separate Dragonblight shards trying to kill the Lich King or the whatever the jelly guy is before him. And
Which is another thing. I'm sorry. Side note. These events start with you kill a big jelly that, to my knowledge, doesn't do attacks. It's just to, like, waste 5 minutes, I guess, to have people get there. I don't know. 1, I don't think we should be wasting time. But 2, I don't think the solution is, I don't know, just give them a big jelly before things actually start.
yeah, so like I have been trying to like kind of like look at the event and figure out like is this gonna be? I mean, it has to be obviously a lead into a bigger thing, but or is it like are Radiant Echoes ever gonna come up again? Are we ever gonna see this shit again? So because it's like it's a congealed memory, I think is what it's called.
So I don't think that this is really going to have anything to do with anything going forward. I think the only tie-in is that we all happen to be in Dalaran because of it, and then Dalaran will be invaded or something will happen.
Which again is just the Legion pre-patch, right? When the demons invaded Dalaran and we had to go around Dalaran killing the demons. Maybe when they were unionizing, they got busy and distracted, and they just were like, I don't know, let's just put something out there so they can do something, but...
That's the gamer answer. They shouldn't have unionized. It's because of their unionization and their equality that we're getting a bad first week. Split them up. Break up
Not
the
a
union.
good year for the unions.
Oh, and then Aaron, you mentioned that, like, yes, this is on a 90-minute fucking countdown, and that is just such a long amount of time in between things, especially since, like, what would you guys say on average how long it takes from, like, when the zone opens at the beginning of the 90 minutes to, like, when the boss is killed, and then you just have to just straight up wait? Because, like, on the one I did, it was, like, 8 minutes.
Well, it varies, because I've had ones, it's always been laggy and bad. But I've had ones where, yeah, we get it done in 8 minutes. The Dragonblight that Slide and I were in, I felt like it took 20 minutes just to punch the Lich King.
It was bad, but I would say on average, it's like 5 minutes, I think. And then, so basically for the rest of the 85 minutes, go home and wait for be earlier next time, because all you can really do is go around that zone and kill a bunch of little guys for like 1 memory apiece.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that's worth it.
Sometimes there's slightly larger guys and they're worth 5.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like completing like the event on a character with the quest gives you 500, and then you get...
if doing the event, you routinely, if you do the weekly quest with it, you routinely get 2,000. So yeah, no. It's nice that they're like, there's still stuff to do while you wait, but don't. Just go home.
Yeah, and
Oh, and you hear that in the background? That's my timer going off. That means that giving you all this lovely content, I have now lost out on this cool event.
Yeah, you can't do it now, man. You're stuck.
so how many of the funny money new currency do you get from just doing the 90-minute end boss?
Just the end boss is 500.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Okay, I cannot verify. Do you receive the 500 every single time if you've already done that one for the week? Yeah,
no,
okay.
Because I found out on Growlina, when you roll up to this thing, the ghost man, your ghost steward, gives you a blue question mark quest, which I was like, blue means daily, resets at 11. So 11:30, let's say today, I skip out of work. Yes, every time my alarm went off, I turn off my work computer screen and turn on the good screen. And I'm going there and I'm like, something seems wrong. And yeah, I only got 200.
So
Also, and I'm so sorry, I forgot the crux of that story. Also, the blue quest is not daily, it is weekly. You can do it once in each zone on a character, and then you have to wait for reset the next week. Ha ha ha, I've tricked those boys. Don't they know that I recently made that quest a daily? But it wasn't then. Hee hee hee.
So you can only do. Is that the one that gives you 2,000?
Yes, the one that gives you 2,000. So I'm running out of options now. I've used and abused all of these. I've done it 10 times now, so that's 3 times on a character. After Randleman, I'm gonna have to be like, like, what's Old Fingerhead up to? What's this up to? If this is their way of forcing you to play alts, like, I guess that's smart, because once you do it in each zone on a character, just give up. There's no need to go back.
So basically what you're saying is that to get like the most funny money coin token things as you can in this first week per character, if you do it once in each zone, so like, and then just go to an alt and do it again, and then like that's probably the best way to do it right now.
Yeah, because Growl got like hardly anything. She got no extra stuff. She got maybe a cumulative 400 after killing the boss and doing the extra events when she did it her 4th time. So once you have done it once on each character in each zone, hang them up. They're retired until Tuesday.
And luckily, you can bring anybody there. You can bring a level 10 character there. And I'm pretty sure they still get the quests and the memories. You can also, I guess you can level through it. I don't know if it's giving a lot of XP. I don't know. I don't plan on leveling through Radiant Echoes. That seems really fucked up. Overly fucked up way of doing that.
You know someone's doing it. We should get them on the podcast, pick their brain.
I did see someone who was doing it, but they called the event the R word a lot, and the participants in it the F word a lot. So I don't.
Jesus.
I wish them luck on their journey, but they weren't exactly the best interview.
So then also, like, part of this thing is that, like, when you are in these old zones, like, it's like memory of a Duke. Like, okay, like but then he says, "Hi, I'm Duke Hydraxis," and I'm like, okay, and he acts like it's the current time. So like, even the quest givers there aren't really interacting with you on a current game basis. They're like, there's been an invasion of water elementals or whatever, go fight them. And I'm like, what? Like, so she's just like, Azeroth is just spitting out what they were saying verbatim back then. Like, I really don't understand. Like, it really feels stupid, I guess, is what I'm saying. It was dumb as fuck.
Base about that. It just feels stupid.
I mean, like, I think we're all in agreement here. I feel like this is not a great event. Personally, I think I'm just going to do it enough. Just do the weeklies on a few characters. I mean, because, like, we have, like, several weeks of this. So, like, because, like, what? This week it's on a 90-minute cooldown. Next week, they say it's a 60-minute cooldown. The week after that, it's a 30-minute cooldown. And then at that point, are we at the War Within?
Yes. So, like, really the only thing worth getting, I mean, if you're getting catch-up gear, go for it. But I don't even understand how this is good for catch-up gear. Because the gear is pretty expensive, right? The gear's, like, is it 5,000 a pop? Is, like, right?
It varies. Like capes, trinkets, those are 2. Yeah, some things are 5. If you're trying to get a weapon, hey, if you're a mage out there and you want a staff, fuck you, 8,000 of these things.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's like 5 hours of saving, which 5 hours, you can do it in a day, but it's like, it's not very fun. Do you really want to run it 3 times just to be like, I got my 480 staff?
So could you potentially get these things to drop from it just by doing it as well?
Yes, that's my tip for all you guys out there. Save your funny money for like the mount or the pets, because I have almost half of the cloth set just from running this event, and it falls out of final bosses or doing the weekly or beating up the big bubble at the beginning.
Or a coconut tree.
I exist within the context of getting half of the purple set.
And not only that, but if you could do a lot if you're trying to gear, you can definitely put your time to better use. So now that everything's awakened, every single thing that gives gear is giving out 480s. I'm talking the Tuskar cooking. I'm talking Dream Surges. Any of those little events, the gear is all bumped up to 480. So just go do those if you want to get gear. It's way funner. Probably a lot less laggier.
Yeah, and we were talking. We were all. I think all of us were talking with Duff Cooper on our Discord, which you can get to by going to donotrelent.com, seeing our links, and clicking on Discord. We were talking with him earlier about like the context of this as catch-up gear, and like I think we all basically came to the conclusion that like unless you really want, like personally, I would be doing this for like Mog, I guess, more so than catch-up gear, because like quite literally the first quest chain in War Within will probably shit out something that is higher eye level than this.
Yeah, I guess I'm not really sure. Part of me is thinking too, like, there have been some early leveling experiences. I feel like BFA was one of those that really kicked our asses with like how strong mobs were compared to what our gear was. But yeah, in the end, it's not going to really matter. You'll get gear soon. There is, and I don't really understand this either, an heirloom ring that you can get from this event. So there's a little shitty ring you can buy for 25 memories, and you have to empower it with 20 memories of Northrend, memories of Kalimdor, and whatever the other one is. Eastern Kingdoms?
Yes. You know, that other continent.
And then it's like, okay, so then you have an heirloom ring. Okay, aren't heirlooms kind of like dog shit right now? Like, what am I gonna do with an heirloom ring? I feel like they nerfed it, right? They destroyed heirlooms to make them kind of worthless, if I remember correctly.
You know, I never really looked into all of that, but like I thought so. That was my like understanding, that like they nerfed or maybe even removed the XP gain. And just, I thought that they just made them like thing of the past, effectively. Like, I don't know, DN Army, are we missing something here?
I think they made them rested experience instead. Something I've never cared about. I've never like, I gotta go log out at an inn, unless it was like a rep grind. They also like made them like weaker, like the eye level, like they're just not as strong. I remember them being like, why would I wear this when I can wear like this green that is dookie and is like 4 times the eye level? So I don't know, I guess I'm gonna get it to put in my little heirloom box, but I don't really go in there very often anyways.
I trust the heirloom system because the Dragonflight one, that fucks. The trinket that you got from Dragonflight from doing a similar thing of like, you put my magic scales on this rock. That dude is so good. That's like slippy, silly tentacles from WoD level of
I was going to
leveling.
say, yeah, like those tentacles from WoD. I do enjoy those. What did we get that from? Like WoD
doing
challenge
mythic challenges in WoD, I think. It was like in our halcyon days, I remember Tyre pulling us through those, being like, you guys have to focus on literally anything. And I'm like,
what are we doing? What's an interrupt? Yeah, that fucking tentacle guy is I love that motherfucker. Okay, so I guess we can get off the pre-batch, because I feel like if there's anything we're sour on, it's that. Everything else happening, I'm like, let's go. Like when you fucking boot up the game for the first time post pre-patch and you get the previously on World of Warcraft.
So I'm so stupid. The previous in World of Warcraft, the narrator, is that a man we know?
It's more than a man, baby. It's a dragon. It's an Osdormi.
Oh, it's Norsdomu, yes. That it was tickling my little soft spot on my head, and I was like, I know this man, but I don't know this man.
It is kind of hard to, like, when there's not, like, a big bearded dragon talking to you. It's kind of hard when you don't see a face attached to it.
I didn't even put 2 and 2 together until you mentioned it to me on the side. I'm like, oh yeah, it is. I'm like, I'm like notoriously bad at like noticing voice actors. So,
but yeah, it was cool. It was basically like just a nice little catch up. It started in BFA. It was like at the end of BFA, and I remember being like, "Oh man, that was just the last expansion." And then he was like, "And then in Shadowlands," and I was like, "Oh god, I forgot about Shadowlands." Fuck.
I feel like you're probably not alone. People shit on Shadowlands, but I'll defend that shit.
I think I liked it more than Dragonflight. I think it's higher than Dragonflight on my list. Is that crazy? I think so.
No, I agree, which is a shame because I feel like we said Shadowlands was the... I don't know. I'm trying not to be the person who's like, every subsequent one's worse than the previous ones. It just happens that I liked BFA more than Shadowlands and Shadowlands more than Dragonflight. But TWW, this is the one that breaks the chain.
Yeah, I think it will though, because like I feel like Dragonflight purposely was made to be kind of mid, if that makes sense. Like mid, not in a way that like I don't feel like they intended it to be bad. I just feel like they intended it to be not as potentially exciting, if that makes sense.
Their driving force in creating it was for softies, and was for like, isn't it interesting to craft and trade things? And I feel like a lot of maybe the narrative or the world building suffered because of that. Yeah, I don't see a lot of nice things happening in TWW, what with spiders and scary night elf trolls.
But my prediction is in like 10 years, people will look fondly back on Dragonflight, mainly because in retrospect from then, in the future, people will say, oh yeah, Dragonflight introduced a lot of the things that we really appreciate about how the game is currently.
I think we're in a big minority here. I think a lot of people currently, right now, would say that Dragonflight is one of the best expansions because of the things they've already added. So it's interesting to say that they're already... So maybe they're going to turn on it. Maybe they're going to be like, that was the stinky one.
I feel bad. This is petty, but there was someone online who is sort of known for loving the series, not really engaging with the product. And they were like, I just don't know. Things were like a little too soft, like a little too... like not much going on in Dragonflight. And I was like, they were making it for you, person. How dare you? You had an expansion specifically crafted for you and you didn't engage with it. Blah!
It's like the meme image of them mining for diamonds. They stopped mining and the diamonds were right behind the next pickaxe. But yeah, the catch up, the beautiful recap I was so excited seeing that shit.
I feel like they need to start doing this more often. Like, not even just, like, before a new expansion, but, like, potentially, like, before a raid or before, like, any point in an expansion where, like, we need to be potentially reminded a little bit about something. Because, like, this was, I feel like, a perfect catch-up of all of the main points that even a new player coming into the game right now would be like, oh, okay, here are all the big players. Here's why these people matter. Going into the expansion, we're like, this is what you need to know. Like, it almost does feel like going into War Within, which is I almost want to like unsay that I said it feels like, because I know we all know that it is a new era basically in WoW, and that's what it felt like with this like intro. That's what you missed on Glee type video.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they're obviously letting you know who the big players are. So the Magni recaps have been interesting with what they gave us in the previously cutscene and then what Magni was saying. Now, the time skip, right? Remember, we have a time skip between Shadowlands and Dragonflight? 5 years? Is that what it is?
3. It was 3 years.
And then
yes.
Dragonflight is the 2 years on top of that. So it's been 5 years since Shadowlands.
Dragonflight was 2
Well,
years.
because of just like the time that we were in it, right?
I guess, yeah, that's sort of the average. I remember when I was reading the Chronicle 4 and BFA, they were like, it was like 32 years after the Dark Portal. And then it was like chapter 2, 34 years after the Dark Portal. I was like, we were doing that for a long time.
So 5 years basically means that Magni was just not getting anything from Azeroth, and that's why he's like depressed or whatever. So then I was thinking,
and apparently not getting from anyone, because Jaina says as much. They're like, we need to go find Magni, and either she or Thrall said, no one's seen him in years. And I was like, oh damn, like he's not in the chamber, he's nowhere, he's just buried under some sand.
No, but then I swear one of them said, like, it's not that we don't know where he is, it's just that we've never checked on him.
We assumed he was doing well. He had Mother in there, Maiden of Vigilance. What more could you need?
We didn't want to go back there either. You go back there. And he's basically like lamenting the fact that he was turned to Diamond. And so then that got me thinking, why was he turned to Diamond? Like I know he's doing the ritual under the Dwarf City. Oh my god, Dwarf City, what's it called? Help me out.
Iron Forge.
Iron Forge.
Iron Forge. Yeah, sorry, all the rage from the pre-batch memory.
Well, I say that really speaks to its importance in like this new WoW. When's the last time anyone been to Iron Forge?
It's been a hot minute. But so he turned the diamond because he was communing with Azeroth, and he just was a frozen diamond man.
Don't you forget, they had that haha funny genie line where it said he needed to commune with the world. And you commune, or no, I'm sorry, he wanted to become part of the world. And then they're like, what up,
He is
and
the
he turned
world.
into a big, he turned into a big crithel.
And then when he was doing she's telling me it's gonna be in, we need to go to, and then like it just didn't. I was like, okay, what other big diamond thing do we know? And I'm like, wait a minute, isn't there a big fucking diamond that's like the sun in the new area? Is he gonna have to fucking replace it? Is that what his mission is? Is he gonna have to fucking become the big diamond sun?
We have to screw him in like a light bulb. The big crystal's going out. And he just T-poses, champion, fly me up there. Put me in the socket.
How many World of Warcraft subscribers does it take to screw in a new Magni Bronzebeard into the whatever the fuck that like
Into Hollow
socket
Fall.
is?
I wish I could tell you, but I keep the number secret.
I'm legitimately worried that I've stumbled across what's gonna happen. Like, fucking, someone's gonna throw a spear through it, and all the power's gonna go out to the Earthen City, and then they're gonna be like, this is why I chose you, Magni. I didn't want to speak to you because I didn't want to have to tell you the truth. That you're gonna have to sacrifice your soul, like how the champions sacrifice their weapons to purge the sword. You have to sacrifice your life force to become the new life force of the Earthen. And because he is stone, he is quote unquote Earthen now. Like how they're like he's kind of like them now. I don't know.
I'm gonna say I like that as much as you've said like I hope that's not the thing. I like that better than what I assume is going to happen, where he just imminent domains the Earthen. Or be like, I have to stay underground with the Earthen to help them rebuild. And also because, like you said, I'm made of crystal and they're made of rock. We're kind of the same guy. I would prefer he go and do something.
You want him to die?
Well, yeah. There's too many of these fuckers. And they just made more of them.
What do you mean? Many
We have
dwarves?
to, I have
You're
to,
saying there's too
I
many
have to
dwarves?
memorize. I have to memorize 5 dwarves. And what? Here comes a 6th guy.
There's only like
Fuck
2
that.
relevant dwarves. I wouldn't even call Bran relevant these days. He's been doing nothing but picking his ass in Hearthstone.
I was gonna say, was this questline the last time we saw him, and who knows how long?
He was doing
It
some
said, like,
digging.
on God since Uldir, I believe.
And he was just like running around.
There's too many of them. Get rid of the funny one. Make him the ceiling crystal. Then old Daggy can take his place.
Hey, it's me, Daggy.
It's me, Daggy baby.
That could be what he sounds like. We don't know, Blizzard.
But fuck that old narrative cutscene. How about that fresh, took 10 years to cook in the oven cinematic? We got the real ass cinematic.
Oh, and let me tell you, it came out of that oven just right. I loved this thing. And we're talking about, like, the new War Within. Are they saying it's a trailer? Is that what they're referring to it as?
I don't know. It's like a teaser. It doesn't really give us any information that we haven't seen before, other than being like, TWW, it is coming.
Yeah, I mean, but then it also just, like, renders everything that we've heard or seen, like, the in-game models of in, like, that classic Blizzard cinematic, high definition. I was so amped up seeing that. I love these things. Like, the art team always fucking kills it with these. It's so incredible.
Yeah, because it basically just kind of took us through some of the people we're going to be interacting with. One of the human elf people with one arm, who she's going to be important. I don't remember if she specifically had the Lothar name, or because
She is. That is Faerun Lothar, and I believe she is the leader, the military leader of the Arathi. Those were the gentlemen that you saw behind her after her suiting up sequence.
So I think she's just incredibly badass. I love that.
Mhm.
And then the other main players that they showed was okay. Were you guys getting like shaman or druid from that one lady?
Oh, Druid. That's I don't know the Haranir. Or there was a Haranir woman there. I don't know what she was doing or what their story is. This is like I've seen the person and heard the name once or twice before, but this is the first time I'm knowing anything about them. And yeah, essentially she just sort of boogies down in like a shaman or druid dance.
She was giving me like not so corrupted blood troll vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Like when she got the power from the, was it an animal or plant she touched? It almost felt kind of like a little evil. Like she took the life force and was like using it, but and maybe the dance just kind of scared me. It was intense.
There was a curvy lady who was jiggling all sorts of ways, and I got a little scared.
It does make me. It piques my interest in what the Haranir are about, though. So I guess that achieves its goal there. And then I feel like the other main faction that they show is, I guess they're just the Earthen of Khazalgar, where they're showing like the forges, right?
Oh yeah. Where he's pulling the big chain and the fucking the humongous forge with the 1-man army pulling it. It's sick. It's funny because the day after the cinematic dropped, I got my collector's edition and I got my statue and my art book. And like I opened the art book and the first page I opened was this dude ringing the fucking bells of Notre Dame Iron Forge. And I'm like, these fuckers.
Yeah, the timing. It almost felt like it was on purpose that because I will say they released this new cinematic for War Within at a really weird time. What was it, like something fucking like Saturday at like 8 p.m. and we're just like, huh?
Yeah, it's like I don't know. And also, man, I guess it's a month beforehand, but that seems a little late to drum up interest.
Maybe the oven cooking was, still going, I guess. It was just popped out.
They said that the chains, they're so meaty, they're so big. I thought this would be done last month. Oh, we gotta cool them down. Where's the guy who throws water on our things? He was too distracted by unionizing.
But okay, then at the end of the cinematic, I feel like the coolest part to me was when like it just dives into a hole and then like we're in like the Nerubian Empire. And we actually get like close-ups of like some of the Nerubians, which is like very spooky, scary. Do you think that they made a cinematic of this where they are crabs instead?
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's the arachnophobia video so people don't have to look at these scary eyeball motherfuckers?
There wasn't even a warning or anything. I could have done with like a 10-second warning being like, if you are scared of spiders, watch out. We might show you one.
They were hideous. Like, I'm like, it felt like I was watching a Diablo 4 cinematic, which was like, wow, this thing is fucking god. There's a lot of money in this thing.
I mean, like the whole suiting up of sorry, Aaron, you said it earlier. What was her name again?
Faerun Lothar.
Yeah, Faerun Lothar, like her suiting up, and just like the closest was her. She in general is just very Diablo coded to me. So like that was the initial vibes that I got.
Yes, very specifically, and I'm sorry, Diablo heads, I once knew, but like the church lore. And they straight up had like the Deborah Wilson character that would hang out with the church paladin guys. It was very much giving me like them entering hell cutscene.
I'm trying to think the high res image of Zalatath. You know a lot of hogs are being cranked to that high fidelity image.
She was fully clothed. You just think like, oh, the skin's so smooth. I can see every pore on her elven body.
No, but like legitimately every time we get new information and new pictures, new cinematics, any new information at all about her, someone mentions her, I see at least 2 or 3 tweets or somebody's just like, she's so fucking hot. So I'm like, yeah, no, they are jerking their gherkins to Zalatath at this, for sure.
It happened in in our guild's own Discord. Fireballs went, Zalatath, and then he did the tongue sticking out like,
Come on, Fireballs.
You don't know her like that, Fireballs.
Oh, also, Aaron, get this. We were on the forefront of information from Radiant Echo's pre-match event. That's right, we're back. Final boss health increase and crests and flight stones. I noticed that. I didn't think anything about it though.
I thought that there was a final health increase because so I will, like I said, I've done this 10 or 11 times within the span of like a day and a half. And yeah, it seemed a lot more fun and easier yesterday. And now today, especially with the lag, I'm sitting there for like an extra 20 minutes. Smish, smush.
Yeah, I guess people, not wrongfully so, were complaining that the bosses were dying too fast at the end, which is true. I remember landing and being like, oh man, if there's like somebody who like is bad at dragon flying or like made it to all 6 of the world quest zones and is out of vigor, they're not making it here. I said as I spammed hero, as I use all my trinkets and potions and abilities to kill the boss as fast as I could to be done with it.
Loser.
And this is after the fact that the bosses also ramp up. They do have a little bit of a period where it's like, oh, I'm getting ready to be able to fight ya.
But like it's funny because like the lag makes you unable to do competent combos. So now it's gonna take forever.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking when we were doing it. Because before I knew that they actually buffed the health, I was like, why is this going so slow? And I was like, well, I guess like I'm just spamming lightning bolt. Because like I was on my shaman. I was like, I can't do anything interesting because I don't know the timing. I don't know if it even goes. So yeah, everyone is just spamming their one key for 20 minutes. Because it's not like the guy ever hurts you. So it's like...
Right. It took me 8 seconds to cast Freezing Orb. Like, I'm like, it's not working. Is it ever... Oh, there it goes. There's Freezing Orb, finally.
Hey, everyone. The Chronicle came out, and we read it. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Like, it was just a Chronicle. I had grown up with tales of, like, it's so terrible. They changed everything. They spit upon poor Steve's grave, Patooey. And I was just like, I went through the whole thing and I was like, oh, this is just kind of par for the course.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I mean, but like I do just like having these things just because I feel like even as the years go on, it'll be more interesting to look back at them.
I also just caught information I never knew. Like I was texting you guys about a Shadowlands plot detail and be like, huh, this makes sense now. Thank you, words in front of me. I definitely was not paying attention back in 2020.
Yeah, well, you're a notorious not quest text reader. You just kind of go, bam, 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 right?
Well, maybe not that specific quest text. I do a nice skim.
Skim milk. We do have a list of the dungeons. We can talk about these now. The dungeons that each faction completed here right in front of us.
I do always like analyzing this. It's always really funny because, like, yeah, in lore, WoW Blizzard has like clarified that like the dungeons and raids that we do, like in canon, normally like one faction is there taking care of like what is happening there. So it's always interesting to see like what they intended it to be, I guess.
Yeah, because I guess like everyone's not going to be there for both things, so it makes sense. Upper Blackrock Spire in Draenor Alliance. We did that. Because that makes sense. That's Warlord Zayla, where she escapes, I believe, until the dragon's back. Shadowmoon Burial Grounds. Yeah, we did that. We killed some orcs.
Well, that makes sense because that happens at our house.
Yeah.
It was interesting, though, that the Horde didn't then do their version. Like, slag mines, to my knowledge, was not mentioned at all.
They're separated into dungeons and raids, so I'm in the dungeon pool right now. The Horde did the Iron Docks, the big wheels.
But we did the train.
Yeah, we did the train. Both factions did Auchindoun, which this actually makes sense. We did Soulbinder and Naomi, because she was with, she kind of knew Yrel, right? A little bit. And then they did Tarangor, and they fucking know Tarangor. He's been tormenting them for a long time, the little orc man.
And the way that hallway splits, like it makes sense that like one faction would go one way and the other would go the other way, and they would take care of the respective bosses.
This one actually makes the most sense. The Everbloom is just us. Because, duh, they were opening a portal to Stormwind. So we were like, we're going to stop that.
That was so interesting because a lot of these are written into the narrative of like the main story. That one was just like an italic side note. And I was like, you know what? I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that whole Everbloom debacle was kind of just like one crazy afternoon.
It's funny because like when it was added to the Mythic Plus pool a season or whatever ago, I had some like pugs that I was running with that were like horde characters, and then at the end of it, they're like, "But like real talk, why would I want to save Stormwind?" And I'm like, "Yeah, exactly. Like that lines up with what we're talking about right now. You wouldn't have been here."
Yeah, it's stupid. Good news for everybody. Both factions went to Skyreach.
Even though it's been ages.
Legion's not as juicy. Legion,
Yeah, I hate
did
to
them
say
for
it.
the most part.
The current writing started worming its way in, and yeah, we all hugged each other and kissed each other after every single thing for a little bit there.
The only outliers here are like the Horde did Neltharion's Lair, which I'm trying to think about. Is that the waterfall one where he's like,
Yes.
"No, I won't be doing that."
And it's like right next to the High Mountain Torrens like area, so like I guess that makes a little bit of sense.
And then they split up the stinky ones. The Horde did the Arcway. That's the one where you get trapped in time, right? And then
yes, that's it.
we did Quarter Stars. So I guess we won that one because I'm glad we didn't have to do the Arcway in canon. Fuck that.
But then also, it's like if we took care of Quarter Stars, like more specifically, why did these fucking Nightborn not join us?
Because Tyrande made fun of the way they dress and the way that they act.
She called them crack addicts. And they fell in line with the other crack addicts in the Horde. Our judgment on how people consume their magic has cost us a lot of elven allies through the years.
Has anybody looked at Tharissa's laptop? Because I bet there's lots of crack searches on that one.
Come on, man. Give me a little break here.
like crack.com.
Crack.com.
I was a huge fan of the articles in 2010, but then they switched to video and everything got messed up.
Top 10 sexiest presidents who were actually ghosts. Crack.com was ridiculous.
I fucking love crack.com. I used to go there every day. The downfall of crack.com actually hurts me so much.
It was sad that you could see the quality of the articles also like declining, like as it got near the end, and I was like, oh my god, what's going on? And then, I mean, what's your favorite crack.com article?
I hate to inform you both, I don't think I ever went to crack.com.
Loser.
Mine was top 7, top 7 myths that were real. Number 6, the Green Man of Philadelphia.
He's out there, folks. Be wary.
I'm trying to think of other things, because we swam in the same waters for a long amount of time. One that was interesting to me was Crucible of the Storms, the one where you just fought N'Zoth's little boys. That was apparently Horde exclusive, but I guess I get it because you grab Xalatath's knife, and then it ends up with Sylvanas. So, similarly to the Everbloom, it's like, why would John Paladin the human ever do that?
I really love this too. So I found the article on Lawhead again, and the person who wrote it was like, Porter Gage was like, sorry, Alliance, the Horde was the one to do Crucible of Storms. And I'm like, that's a good thing. That just adds to the very, very high pile of list of things that the Horde have done wrong. The Horde allows Xalatath to have her own expansion and do evil shit now.
Was that really by Porter Gage?
That's the gay gnome guy.
Yeah, I was about to say, I've had them blocked for forever. That's crazy to hear their name again. Gosh. I was about to say, I wonder what they're up to, but I guess being snarky and wrong in Wowhead articles.
But yeah, y'all are right though. Like that just basically confirms that the only reason that Xalatath is existing as is now and is plaguing us for the next 3 expansions or whatever is because of the Horde.
Put it on the pile. But yeah, now let's do a top 2, bottom boot, medium moot. I'll go first.
Okay.
My top 2.
Toot.
Toot toot toot.
I mentioned it earlier, but I got my collector's edition, and that means now I got battle.net funny money balance because it reimbursed me for the money that I spent. So now I got money to spend on whatever the fuck I want. Do I spend it all on one Overwatch skin? Who knows? We'll find out.
Make sure it's one of the really bad ones, too. This Sombra is the same, but we've made all the textures gray. Yes, ship it. I already bought it.
No, but the statue is beautiful. I feel like I was putting together a Shrine of the Silver Monkey statue. It had like 6 pieces, and I was like, am I doing this right? Are the wings inverted? But it's sitting right next to me. I'm petting it right now. Here, you guys can listen to it. Ready? That's me slapping a wing. I don't know if that picked up or not.
It did. It is a very pretty statue, though. I really appreciate it. I love these statues that they make.
Now, does it have an open hand to carry weed paraphernalia?
I guess I could remove the hand that's carrying the hammer, and I could... Actually, no, wait. I could. Look at that. Yes, indeed. I sure can. I'll send a picture.
Yeah, he is resting some cones in between the... Is this just a nondescript dwarf?
That's a good question. You know, maybe we don't know yet, but it is just... I don't even think... Is it even an earthen dwarf? Or is it just a dwarf man?
No, I don't think it's an earthen dwarf.
Would it just be a wild hammer, then?
Yeah, maybe? I guess we'll find out with time, but I don't really know how the dwarves make contact with their stone cousins.
Yeah, it just kind of is giving me, like, a wild hammer, but, like, I don't really have a lot to go off of looking at it, so I don't know. What about you? Immune, top 2, bottom boot, medium boot?
I have a bottom boot.
Boo.
It unfortunately is just this pre-patch event in general. As we talked about extensively earlier in the podcast, I'm not vibing with it. I feel like it's boring and uninspired and lazy. And I will just be getting in and getting out and getting... I guess my main goal is that mount, and I'll probably get enough Mog to care about on the way. Like, that's probably my goal here. But yeah, just bottom boot for that. Not really vibing with it. Aaron, what do you got?
Well, I have a rapid-fire series of toots and boots that eventually make up a medium moot.
Toots and boots, medium moot.
1. One. Boot. I blew all my damn points for the month doing the pre-patch event, and so I lost out on like 600 points for the month of August, which starts tomorrow.
You know, I had that. I saw like my journal filling up, and I was like, "Fuck! Should I be waiting until like literally tomorrow to do this?"
Except that I wanted to get my little treat so bad, so I missed out. I'll still do it in one day, like I typically do, but I'll feel terrible and goofy and dumb.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Worry not, everyone. They reset those trading post quests with the new month. So, your boy was still in the money. Go out and do the event, even though it's stinky, and you'll fill that book up like nothing.
Hold on your bets. Here's where the buck stops.
Second boot. Booty ATW, the warrior, got a cursed relic, a cursed trinket called Magic Stone of Northrend or something like that. And what it does is randomly as you're fighting, it turns you into, quote, a denizen of Northrend to empower you.
Huh?
So cool Booty ATW is swinging her swords around, stabbing people. Oh, the thing happened. Now she's a Tonka, doing Tonka animations that suck. Or now she's an Iron Dwarf, doing really muted Iron Dwarf animations. And I don't know if anyone's ever seen a panda do martial combat. They do a lot of swinging and a lot of cool flips and stuff. So as soon as I turn into like a Vrykruel, I'm like, this is terrible! And it goes for 40 seconds.
And how often does this happen?
Like every 40 seconds. When I'm fighting something, which luckily I don't do a lot because I have to wait 90 minutes every time. But anytime I'm fighting something, like I swear I spend more time as a denizen of Northrend than I do as a panda, and it fucks me up.
That's fucking weird. It sounds cool, though.
But all of this leads to my top toot. And that is that through due diligence and through doing all of these events far too many times, yes, not even a day and a half out, I already have the Piss Griffin.
Pissfin.
Well, if anyone was about to get it immediately, it is the King of Griffins himself, Aaron.
I saw it every moment of the 90 minutes increments, and I said, I gotta have it. And then I got it, and I said, wow, I don't know what to do now. Now I'm looking at the pets, and I was like, God, I don't fucking care about pets. But at the same time, I don't know if I care about getting the T-Mog because I think I'll just get it naturally by playing. So I'm like, what will I even do now?
I guess you gotta get the ring.
Well, trust me, as a man who had to buy a super special ring once, tee-hee-hee-hee, I know
Cock.
that rings cost yeah, it's my cock ring. It's my Prince Albert. I knew that rings cost a lot of money, and I'm glad that it's being supported by our patrons. They include Ahoy Vince, NSYNC / Drag Race, Azar and Digital Dave, asking Growlina to say, for the Horde. Kat, the Shamateur Shaman, Immunization, the Secret Stalker. Ho-ho-hee. Mitch, who wants to remind everyone that Rathian isn't daddy, he's a literal child. Crucifix, Alternator, Saracen Hawk, Chris M, Kick Puncher, Jerome, Adorno.
I'd rather eat brandy. I'd rather eat brandy.
Losing the Patient, Gershie Super Squirt Day, Calcus, waiting for pre-patch. We're gonna have to keep waiting. Cilantro, Wooly, Slidewhistle, Secret Stalker, Teehee, Adam N, Vanderlyle, and Will, aka Tire, Trade Chat's fallen father.
Those are our patrons. You can email us at donotrelenttpod@gmail.com. Go to donotRelent.com for all things Do Not Relent. Find our Discord there. Find your bald-headed granny there. And her hold of pennies. What about you guys? Where can they find you around town?
Well, you know, I be around town, and by that I mean you can find me, Alex, or Immunization on Twitter at NewEraAlex, or on Blue Sky at Immunization.
You can find me, Aaron the Human, at the Bigacheesy on Twitter.com. And you can watch me play Videograms at twitch.tv/AaronDNR.
Hit it, Commander Linden.
Another down. Do not relent.
Do Not Relent is a podcast within the 3HNC network, representing U.S. Proudmoore's premier podcasts.
That was a very good wish.